So one thing we got at Clam Pro Tackle is a wide variety of spoons. We're talking panfish spoons in that 32nd or 16th, 1/8 ounce size. Then we're talking walleye or maybe gamefish spoons, a little bit bigger, you know, 1/8, quarter, even up to 3/8 size. So your spoon, pick your choice. Some days we're using heavy slab spoons. Other days the fish want, you know, flutter type spoons. So it all depends on the body of water and the conditions you're fishing that day.
Hey guys, Matt here. We're out on the lake doing some crappie fishing, and we're doing some spoon fishing actually today. And one of the awesome things is Clam Outdoors has a spoon for every panfish scenario you could think of. Spoons are one of the most versatile panfish lures you could possibly use, and we're gonna go over a few of them for you today. This right here happens to be one of my favorite clam spoons. This is going to be the Pinhead Minnow. This is going to be the 1/16 ounce size. I use both the 1/8 and the 1/16 ounce size depending on the size of crappies or even bluegills that I'm going for. I actually fish this bait without like bait at all. No waxworms, no Eurolarva. I fish it plain a lot of times. For some reason they just really like it without any bait on it. It has a really nice clacker on it to add a little bit of noise. It drops really fast, so if you're in a deep basin, and it is a great spoon for big crappies. Now this type of spoon is a jigging spoon. Clam has a couple other jigging spoon options that are great for other scenarios. We have the jointed pinhead. The jointed pinhead just adds a little bit more action to the normal pinhead minnow. So what that's going to allow you to do is, you know, maybe get a couple more fish to trigger that wouldn't have targeted the normal pinhead. So it's great to have this option ready. Another staple in the clam lineup that has been a fish catcher for, you know, seasons and seasons for us is just a blade spoon. Blade spoon's very simple. It doesn't have a clacker. I like to put minnow heads on these. You can pop the hook off with its split ring plier, and you can slide a minnow head right on it. It'll stay on all day. It's another great option for suspended crappies and panfish in basins. And another great option is the drop spoon. Now, this is great for big bluegills because it is very small and compact. This actually happens to be tungsten, so it is going to still sink down very fast to the fish, but it's very nice and compact. So a lot of times those larger bluegills, they don't want a big giant spoon like a crappie would. So this can really help fit a profile better. The other thing is it's got a really nice epoxy bead right on the treble hook. So sometimes when those big bluegills are looking up at it and maybe you had missed a fish and you don't have as many Eurolarva on the hook anymore, you still got that epoxy bead that can help draw them in. Another great jigging spoon option, the big brother to the drop spoon, would be the dropper spoon. Now, the difference between the drop spoon and the dropper spoon is this one's going to have a little separation from the tungsten weight and the hook itself on a little chain system. Now, what this is great for is if you're on a finicky bite and they're short striking your spoon, if you go to this, it can sometimes separate the weight from the hook, allowing you to, you know, get not only a little bit better action on your bait in front of the fish's face, but it'll also allow them to have a little bit more ease of sucking in the bait. So this is another great option for you. Another class of spoon that is very useful when fishing for panfish is going to be a Flutter Spoon style. A staple in the lineup has been the Leech Flutter Spoon. Now, the Leech Flutter Spoon is absolutely awesome. It has very aggressive side-to-side movement when it's falling down on slack line, and it has very good jigging action too. It has a really nice kick to it. It's paired up with a feathered treble, and a lot of times you also don't need bait with this one because that feathered treble can usually call in and fish and seal the deal. So this is a great option for you. It does come with a nice quick snap, so if they're not eating on one color, you can just grab a different spoon and just quickly snap it right in. There's a couple other Flutter Spoon options. This one is going to be the Sweet Pea. Now, the Sweet Pea is absolutely great. I like using this for dead sticks. Now, I'll just put a full-size crappie minnow onto this spoon, and it has great action to it on the fall. It's also going to be really good just because it comes with that single hook on it, and it's an offset hook, so when you're using a minnow, you can really get good hook penetration on this bait. Another spoon that's pretty similar to the last one, but to be honest with you, it has a little bit more action because it's going to be thinner, is the Guppy Spoon. Now, this is another one where it's going to have the single hook to it. Now, this one is going to be thinner. It is a little bit lighter, so it's going to be a slower fall to it, but it's also going to have a very aggressive side-to-side action when it's falling. So this is a good one for, again, dead sticks, or actually just kind of quivering the spoon above those suspended schools. And I like pairing this one again with a minnow. So with all these great spoons, now you got to know what scenarios to use them in. So what I really like to do when I'm fishing deep water crappies is I like to start with my jigging spoons. So the Pinhead Minnows, the jointed Pinhead, the blade spoons, those sink really, really fast. They have a little bit bigger profile to them, more of a bait fish profile. And I like to fish them very aggressively to start. So if I can get away with either no bait or plastics, I'll start there just because it's very fast and efficient. I can get down quick, I can work that bait fast and aggressive, and I can see the mood of those fish very, very quickly. So that's usually what I will start with. If I can't get them to go on that jigging style of spoon, I'll then go to a flutter style spoon. And something a little bit slower fall, such as the Leech Spoon, or you're going to have the Guppy or the Sweet Pea, just has a little bit more action to it. It's going to be a little bit more natural flowing down to the fish. It's not going to just drop right on their head. And so you kind of want to just try both techniques in those deeper water scenarios just to see which mood that the fish is going to be in. So it's great to have both of those styles of spoons rigged up. When I'm fishing big bluegills, the drop spoon is always going to be my go-to. It is nice and compact, but it's also very heavy, so I get good bite detection on my rod. I don't have to worry about not feeling that spoon at all because it's tungsten and it's very dense. So it not only gets down quick, but it's a nice small profile, and a lot of times those bigger bluegills, sometimes it can be really finicky, and so that smaller profile just helps seal the deal. And you can also pair that up with that dropper spoon. That dropper spoon is going to be great if they are super finicky and they're short striking the drop spoon. It's going to allow them just to suck it in a little bit easier, allow them not to feel that weight of the spoon as much, and that can really help seal the deal with that. So what I would recommend is, for bluegills, trying the drop spoon, a little bit more compact. You can also get them on that 1/16 ounce Pinhead Minnow. That's going to be another very nice small size spoon that they can target. And then for crappies, I usually go from that 1/16 ounce size to the 1/8 ounce, depending on the size of crappies I'm targeting. And I like to start with those jigging spoons. So the Pinhead, the jointed Pinhead, the blade spoon, and then if I can't seal the deal on one of those 3 spoons, then I will shift over to a Flutter Spoon style. So hopefully you guys can use some of these spoon techniques. They're very effective on panfish, and we use a lot of them, and it's done really well for us the past couple of years.
Hey ice fishermen, John Crane here, Clam Pro Tackle. We're here today to talk about walleye spoons. One thing we've got is a lot of spoons. Seems like every year or two we come out with a different one. And the reason for doing this, we're fishing different styles, different bodies of water. Sometimes we're using slab spoons, sometimes noisy rattle spoons, and other times it's a flutter spoon. You know, so day in and day out, you need different tools, and we're gonna run through them all with all the different popular spoons. One of my favorites is the Pinhead Minnow. And you know, sometimes it's about the simplicity of the shape. This is a kind of what I say a do-nothing bait. You drop it down there, and we're using a simple shake and yo-yo, typically tipping it with a minnow head or a Mackie soft plastic or something like that. When I'm fishing walleyes and saugers, I'm using typically 1/8, 1/4, 3/8. So that's the Pinhead Minnow. It's got a nice noisy flapper on the bottom, that red treble hook, of course. Some days the fish want a little more action, and along that same line, you know, a slab spoon style is the jointed Pinhead Minnow. and it does have a little extra action with that joint in the middle. And you know, we found that again, just dancing it right in front of those fish, you want those upward feeding walleyes and saugers to come up and grab that jointed pinhead minnow, usually with a minnow head on there, or a waxworm or some sort. Again, it's got that noisy flapper on there. I'm using the glow-in-the-dark colors under low light situations at dusk and dawn, or when there's a bunch of snow and ice on top and the light penetration. Make sure you glow them up real good. What other types of spoons we got here? One of our newest ones here is the ribbon leech. This one's made out of zinc alloy, and this is really a noisy spoon. Because of the zinc alloy, it's a hard body. It's not lead that absorbs noise. That zinc alloy body resonates the noise of that little flapper blade on there, and the treble hook actually makes noise on there too. So one thing about the ribbon leech, it's a thin version of the standard leech spoon that you've all fished. And so within this thing has got random erratic action. It's falling like this. You can't determine where it's going to land, and fish like that. It looks like an injured bait fish. So again, we're tipping it with something. Generally speaking, I like it comes with a little snap on the top there, and typically with all of our spoons, all these walleye, sauger, eel pout type spoons, we're always using a swivel, 18 to 24 inches up of John Crane swivel to keep the line twist out. Really helps, especially in deep water. If you're stroking that spoon aggressively, you're going to get some line twist, and that swivel will help you out there. Okay, Clam Pro Tackle, one of our biggest spoons, and probably made for bigger species, bigger walleyes typically, or lake trout, even eel pout, you know, is this peg spoon. And again, it's super thin. It's thinner than the ribbon leech spoon. And so this is your ultimate flutter spoon. Made for Lake Winnipeg, Lake of the Woods, your bigger fish where you're going for that wall hanger walleye, and you've got a shot at an honest, you know, 9 or even a teenage weight, you know, walleye. Crack out that big peg spoon, put a dead shiner on there or any kind of cut bait on there, and give her a rip. Not to be without done, we've got our traditional leech spoon. This is one of my favorites, and made out of zinc alloy. The leech spoon comes, you know, all the way from panfish sizes up to our walleye and gamefish and sauger sizes. This is my go-to day in and day out. All the metallic colors I'm using during the day, especially in these zebra-filled waters, you know, where the reflection, the water is real clear, so the metallic colors get to play. And we've got some beautiful glow-in-the-dark ones for at dark. The leech spoon, they all come with that dressed treble, and we've seen that, you know, in walleye and bass circles in open water, how effective that dressed treble is. Again, we'll tip it with a minnow head, but the Leech Flutter Spoon, that's money right there. What else we got here? This one's been in the line a long time, and we do have the Rattling blade spoon, more of a slab spoon versus the other. We just talked about a lot of flutter spoons. The Rattling blade spoon is a slab spoon, so meaning it does not have a lot of action. It's meant to get down there fast to deep water. Take advantage of that when the game fish are down there below you. You want to get there. It's got a Pyrex rattle in the back there, glass, with stainless steel BBs. Again, they're louder than traditional. Other companies use lead BBs. These are stainless steel. Just shake it, rattle, and roll them up there. So Rattling blade spoon, typically for walleyes and saugers, I'm using 1/8, sometimes 1/4 if I'm going for a big one, or in deep water, 3/8, but typically 1/8 and 1/4 day in and day out. So those are some of the spoons from Clam Pro Tackle. Get yourself out there this winter and do some spooning.